Hi everyone, trust you all are doing well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to continue basically where we left off, and we're going to create our... Alright, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to deal with our handle method right here. So let's get started. Right, the first thing that we want to do next to our handle, we will actually want to bring in our thread model. Right, just make sure it's imported at the top. I'm just going to keep on repeating it. I think to myself, no, just don't repeat it. People already know how to, but I think I'm just going to keep on repeating it. Yes, otherwise I'm still coding and I still get the same error. All right, so what we're doing is we're going to create a thread and we're going to equal that to a new thread. All right, so then we're going to open and close with an array. All right, inside that we're actually now going to create our thread right here. All right, so we've got a thread, and that is going to equal to, no, this needs to be the title. All right, so the title, and that's going to equal to this title. Okay, the next one is, this is going to be the body. Let's just add the slug in here. All right, the slug is equal to this str, bring in the slug and this title. Okay, so this the title, right? So we just make sure that you import it at the top as well. Illuminate support string, just make sure you bring it in at the top. All right, so the next one, we got our title and we got our slug. So we need our body as well. So our body, now our body is going to equal to this body, right? And our category ID, let's move this up. I'm just moving it up just to give us some space, so that you guys can easily see everything. All right, so that's why I do it. This dot category. Okay, and the next one is going to be for our tags. Now tags is actually going to, we're going to sync our tags. So we've got our title, slug, body, category, that's fine. The next part that we need to do is the thread, authored by. Okay, so authored by, you guys remember we created a method inside our, let me just open our thread controller. You know what, let's just go inside the author by. You see we created a thread called has author, and the author by, then we do the author, the relationship. You remember the belongs to relationship. So that is basically what we're doing. So we'll sync that as well. All right, so author by, this author. Okay. Come on. Author, my brain stopped working or something. The next part that we're going to do is, this is going to be the thread sync tags. Remember the property, the trait that we created for tags. This is basically where it comes from. This is the tag. I think I'm just going to show you guys for the ones that might be new. We created a trait called has tags, and in that is got a sync tags right here. Right, so that's where that's where that comes from. All right, so basically in our thread model right there, we got a has tags and the has author. Right, so we bring in those traits and methods. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to save the thread, save it, and then we basically want to return the thread. Okay, so let's just return the thread right here. All right, so now that's all done. So now what we want to do now is we want to actually go to our thread controller right here. And now we want to call on this dispatch. Right, there's a method inside Laravel.io called dispatch now. They use the dispatch now method, but what we're going to use is we're going to use the dispatch sync method. All right, and then we're going to do a create the thread, and we're going to call on that static method. You guys remember from the previous lesson, we created it from request. right here, the static method that we're calling, right? We're going to call that, and then we're just going to pass in the request, all right, like this. All right, so we're dispatching that job, we're creating it, and we pass in the request, and then after that's done, we just redirect it to the, say, thread successfully created. All right, so I'm going to leave a link for you. Let me just go to the browser quickly. On Laracast, Rodrigo Pedro, he created a nice little post that you can go and read between the difference between DispatchSync and Dispatch Now. But Dispatch Now is deprecated, so don't use it. It will not work and things like that. So just rather leave it for now. Or if you've got the older Laravel, please don't use it, as it will be deprecated. Rather use the DispatchSync, and then you will actually get a nice explanation of the two, the difference between the two. I will actually just leave a link in the description for you guys. He made a very, very nice post that I cannot even kind of explain to you guys. All right, so just go and read it for yourself. And I won't do it justice if I were to try and explain it to you. All right, so just go and read it there. All right, so let me just go back here. Let's create a post and see if it works. All right, let's do like this. Is some feedback. Let's use Laravel as tag. Okay, this is a great learning curve. Come on, if I can spell learning curve. All right, so let's create that. All right, as you can see, this is some feedback. As you can see, everything works through our dispatch. All right, so our job work. So as you can see, this actually now handles our job right here, this part right here. So everything is done in our thread and our store request right there. So if I just show you guys, let me just do this. Die and dump the request. Let me just do that. Okay, let's die and dump the request when we actually create a thread quickly. We're doing all of this for learning purposes. Okay, so let's just add the test title, just feedback, LiveWire, just some things. Okay, so when we do that, as you can see, it actually die and dump. So now we're dealing with that request. Okay, so if we go to the request right here, you will see it will actually show us all the parameters, the array of items. You see the body right there, and it shows the array of the tags as well right here. Okay, so everything is working as intended. Another thing that I forgot to do, I just need to add this in a construct method, your array for the tags, just also set it to an empty array as well. All right, so that's basically handling our thread right there. Now the next part, as you guys can see, we actually don't get a notification. We actually don't get a notification right here on top to say if a post is successfully created or not. All right, so we want to add that right there so that if the user created, they get some feedback up there as well. Okay, so let's do that. All right, so we got our for each. All right, so we go to thread controller, then we go to the index. So in the index method, just above our for each right there, what we want to do now is we just want to put the x alert dot main in here. Is it x alerts? I think it's x alerts dot main. So basically our component. Okay, as you can see, so if we go to our components, alerts main. So it's alerts with the S. All right, so we put that in there. Let me just put alert so that it's easily seeable, and I'm just going to put in here site navigation, site nav bar. Okay, so we do that. Okay, so then obviously I'm just going to do this. I'm going to call this pagination. Okay. So that if someone looks at the code, they can easily see where everything is. That's the only reason I do it. All right, so we've got our lids right there. We can actually put an S. All right, so let's see if it works. Let's go. Oh, yes, I just want to mention another thing for you guys as well. The reason why I left out the equal to an array right there is because I think I did get an error. That's why. Just leave it as is, otherwise you're going to get an error. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so let's create something again. This is feedback for horrible lessons, because normally if someone types and they're angry, they type in caps. So we're going to go under feedback, Laravel, horrible lessons. Smiley face. All right, so let's press create. Now, as you can see, we got our alert popping up right there. So it's supposed to disappear after a couple of seconds, and that's it. All right, so that's it, done for this lesson, guys. So if you do like the video, please give it a like. If you don't, please give it a dislike. And yes, we're going to continue in the next one, when we're going to need to be later, if the person is like, okay, but I don't think this is a horrible lesson anymore. If it's the author, they need to actually get a little edit button right here. We're going to add that in the next one. So if they want to edit their post, if they click on the edit, they can be able to do that and stuff like that. If they're not the author, that button is not available for them on that other post. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I will link the Dispatch Now and DispatchSync for you in the description. So if you want to read up more about it and stuff like that, I will obviously link up the Laravel for the jobs part. I will link it also in the description for you. All right. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and yes, see you in the next one. Goodbye.